Hey everybody, Forbidden Exile here, and welcome to a new video. So as the title said, we're playing Explosive Arrow. So I'm really not sure why I waited so long to play this build. It is super fun. I'm sure a lot of you have probably seen Zizzarin's take on it as well. I tried to go a little bit more damage since I'm not playing in hardcore like he does, and it's working out pretty well. I'll have a 60% Delirious, pretty decently rippy cemetery map that I did earlier today. I'll have that at the end of the video so you can watch that so you can get some gameplay. Alright, so we'll go over the gear, the gems, the skill tree, and path of building as usual. Alright, so as far as the bow, you do want to get as high attack speed as possible because that affects the fuses and how much damage you do. So I went with the thicket bow. I actually dropped this in, I think, a Cortex map. I am playing on standard, so put that out there. I don't have a lot of time this league to play in league, and I really wanted to play this build, so I took an old character, respec everything, and built an explosive arrow build in it. But yeah, this dropped in a Cortex map. You don't have to get the synthesized increased elemental damage, it just adds more damage. So you want to get +1 level of socketed gems, level of socketed bow gems, then you want to get adds flat, lightning, or cold, not fire. You don't want any flat fire damage anywhere on your build so that you can trigger elemental equilibrium. And you want to get some form of attack speed roll on there. You can get res on there. I got lucky when I was crafting this one. I got lightning res, and then you craft minions have increased attack speed because of a node on the tree. And then obviously do the harvest enchant and get more increased attack speed. Could go over to TFT and get 30% quality on it, which I might eventually, but it works just fine how it is. As far as the helmet goes, so this one I just used Deafening Essences of Greed to get max life. I got increased armor roll on there, got some chaos res, which you really need chaos res on here. And then I actually bought this with the explosive arrow has 15% increased attack speed. I believe the increased duration enchant actually does more damage because your ignites last longer, but it works fine. Use the Eldritch currency to get increased duration of ailments on enemies, and then increased flammability curse effect because we are manually casting flammability, and then just craft it on some more cold and chaos res. So for the quiver, try to go for the broadhead arrow quiver with increased attack speed. That was if you're playing in standard. There are broadhead arrow quivers that don't have the increased attack speed implicit, so make sure you look for that. If you're playing in league, then they will all have that. All right, so for the rings, they're both just regular vermilion rings, nothing special. I actually do need to catalyst this one up, but just get more life. I'm at 5,300 life right now. I'd like to get to 6,000, but we'll get there. Just some res. I tried to get something good with the build chaos orb, but it didn't work. Same for this one. Deafening Essence of Anger to get increased fire damage, and then just some res. For the amulet, I got a double skill gem amulet on here. There's a couple ways you can do this. You can just buy them. I mean, in standard they're expensive for some stupid reason. In league they're pretty cheap right now. Just to get the all skill gems and all fire skill gems, they're 40 divine in standard right now. In Crucible, you get them for like 5. So, and then you want to anoint watchtowers because it gives you an extra totem, more totem damage, and then you also get increased movement speed per summon totem, so you'll have 6 totems as well, so you get a free 6% increased movement speed once you have all your totems down. And I multi-modded it and just got increased fire damage and then increased totem placement speed just so I can drop them faster. For the body armor, I went between this one and the fractured 50% global defenses. I don't need energy shield, so while the fractured global defenses probably is better, I have a really good one that I crafted a while ago, and I didn't want to try and roll it to get spell suppression, so I just bought a dragon scale, hit it with some perfect fossils to get higher quality, and then yeah, I just used the Deafening Essences of Loathing to get mana reservation on there, and I just spammed it until I got T1 spell suppression. The tier just depends on where you're at with the rest of your gear. You obviously get spell suppression on your gloves and your boots as well, because you want to get 100% spell suppression. And I got some armor roll, increased armor evasion, crap life roll, but this is what it is. And then I did Malevolence has increased or effect. You can do Determination, whichever you prefer. And then I chose increased fire damage just for more damage. You can also do increased effective non-curse auras. There's a lot of options with that one, just personal preference. So for the gloves, Deafening Essences of Greed to get more life. And then I spammed it until I got just spell suppression is what I was going for, and I actually got increased evasion and T1 fire res, which is super nice. And then just crafted on more attack speed. The belt, it's the Diadem Dawn. It's the best in slot. I do have a Mage Blood version that I actually built with this. That'll actually be in the path of building as well. You can hit it with the attack or elemental catalyst to go from 35% faster ignites to 42%. And basically, ignites you inflict with attacks deal damage faster. You still do the same amount of damage, but your damage per second is faster. So if you do 1,000,000 damage over 5 seconds, you know, you'll do 1,000,000 damage over 3 seconds. For the boots, just some evasion. I probably should get Slink boots because they have a higher evasion, or maybe armor evasion base. I'm still pretty tanky. But the fractured lightning res on there, actually only T4, that's all I needed. I probably could go with like T5. But I dropped these just in a map and just crafted them. I actually just used Chaos Orbs, hit it a couple times until I got a chance to suppress spell damage, got some Chaos Res, and then just for any boots, if you ever want movement speed, I know this is out there everywhere, but if you have an open prefix, then you just do Suffixes Cannot Be Changed, hit it with Veiled Chaos Orb, craft on mana, unveil, and you're like, I don't know what the percentage is, I'm going to say like 95% guaranteed to get one of the movement speed ones. I hate being chilled and frozen, annoying, so I picked movement speed, chance to avoid being chilled, and then craft on chance to avoid being frozen, so I am freeze and chill immune. So as far as flasks go, pretty much charges when reach full on these three right here, but got a granite flask with double armor. The gain 3 charges when you're hit by an enemy is super important so that your flask can always be up. As you're basically just running, dropping totems, or running through stuff and you're always getting hit, your flask will always be up. It's a regular Corrupted Blood Bleeding Flask. Got a double movement speed Quicksilver Flask with the gain 3 charges. We've got the Quartz Flask right here with the reduced effective curses, so you don't get cursed as much. And then a Jade Flask with increased attack speed as well, because as I said, attack speed helps you do more damage. Alright, so for the gems that we're using here, so we've got Explosive Arrow, a link to Anomalous Combustion. The reason why I chose Anomalous Combustion as opposed to regular combustion is because your ignites from supported skills deal damage faster. Just Ignite Proliferation helps spread those ignites around. Life Tap, because I literally have no mana, so everything uses Life Tap. That's a regular 20-22 Ballistic Totem. Valve that one myself, and then a level 5 20 Wicked Elemental damage with attacks. On the helmet, we got Enlighten level 4 with Malevolence, Grace, and Determination. I do have Valgrace. I don't really ever use it. I could probably throw it in this little slot right here, but I don't really ever use it. For your 6-link body armor, you don't really need a 6-link. You can kind of get away with a 5-link. This flammability does use a lot of mana, so if you can get a 6-link, then you're better off. But the whole purpose of this, basically, you can see here there's a lot of random stuff in here. I guess you have Flame Dash in here, but you do want it linked to Life Tap, is use Frenzy. So I have Frenzy on my right click. You just blast off a bunch of Frenzy, and what it does is when it hits an enemy, it gives you Frenzy charges. So, because I have multiple projectiles on there, I fired a couple times, and I have 3 Frenzy charges instantly. Uses Life Tap, and it also, Life Tap helps with flammability, anomalous flammability, increased effective curse. Cull as well. You know, when you're running through, you can just hit them with this a couple times, especially with like Delirious maps or even bosses. Culling Strike is amazing. Just regular Flame Dash and then Anomalous, greater multiple projectiles. You don't need that. You can just use lesser multiple projectiles. Just something to give you a little bit more spread than just trying to do one arrow, because it's easier to hit stuff when it's moving around. So, Arcanist Brand. So this setup, I would say it's mandatory, but it definitely helps a lot with damage on bosses. It basically, what it does is it triggers Flame Surge. So as you can see there, it creates a magic brand which is attached to a nearby enemy and activates while attached, and supports spell skills that have no reservation. So once you hit an enemy with Arcanist Brand, it will cast Flame Surge on them, which will basically ignite them. And when they get hit with Flame Surge, you get 58% more damage with hits against burning enemies. And then I have Infernal Cry linked to Life Tap. Infernal Cry on one of your mouse buttons, and that covers the enemies in ash, which causes them to take more damage. And then over here, I got an empty socket over here because I don't have anything else to use. Just Immortal Call on the left click with increased duration and life tap. Because of the super nerfs to Molten Shell, Immortal Call is the way to go. All right, so for the skill tree, we'll go over the ascendancies first. So you get Fortification, Fortitude. That also gives you increased attack speed and just helps with surviving. Armor and Evasion Taunt duration. And then you come up here and take Conquer, 100% chance to taunt on hit. The reason you do that is because taunted enemies cannot evade attacks, so you don't have to worry about any kind of accuracy. So for the tree, come down here, take all these attack speed and life nodes. Come down here, all these life nodes, life regen, stuff like that. And then all of these totem nodes right here. For this one, 5% of damage from hits is taken from your nearest totem, so that helps with survivability as well. Come up here, take these damage over time, because Explosive Arrow does damage over time. Obviously, any kind of fire multi attack speed nodes you're always going to want to take. Elemental Equilibrium, that's why you can't have flat fire damage. You want to have flat cold or flat lightning. You can have both, doesn't matter, as long as you don't have any flat fire damage. If you look on your character tab right here, and you look on offense, if you go to Explosive Arrow, nothing should say fire damage right here. Main hand, if you see main hand fire damage, look through your items, and you'll have to recraft it. You should just see main hand lightning or main hand cold. I only have lightning because I have lightning on my bow, and I think on my quiver as well. Come up here, take these bow nodes as well. Over here, get some more spell suppression right here. Up here, some projectile speed, life. Come up here, take Mage Bane to get you spell suppression capped. All the rest of these spell suppression nodes right here. Work your way up here, take all these life nodes. So as far as the Watcher's Eye goes, the dot multi, when affected by Malevolence, it just adds so much more damage. The rest of the nodes, or the rest of the mods in there, don't matter. You don't need a triple mod one at all. Work your way up here, come over here, take Spiritual Command. So this is how, when you have the minions have increased attack speed, this is why you do it. So increases and reductions to minion attack speed also affect you. Then it also gives you another 8% increased attack speed. This one gives you 4, and that one gives you 4 as well. Over here, just all these life nodes, 50 max life. Obviously your usual Reservation Mastery, ores have 10% increased effect on you. Up here, take Ancestral Bond, so you get an extra totem. I come up here, take all these Fire Dot Multi, and then I chose Fire Explosion. Inflict applies an extra -5 to fire res. Up here, Elemental Overload, and then take these Dot Multi nodes as well, and then increase skill effect duration, because you want your ignites to last as long as possible when they hit an enemy. Alright, so for Path of Building, as I said, I've got, I'll put this in the description below, but I've got a Mage Blood version and a Died in Dawn version. Just go to Item Set, and then Passive Tree, or you go over to the tree, go down here, which is a Mage Blood if you'd like, but this is the version that I'm using right now. So, 21 million combined total damage. The one I look at is 8 million total dot damage per second. Effective hit pool 76,000 and 5,300 life. Spell suppression capped by 17%, so I could actually probably get rid of a couple of these nodes already. From recrafting gear. I only have 27% chaos res. I do need to get that higher, but this is what it is. Alright, so as far as configuration goes, if you do import this into your Path of Building, you want to check Frenzy Charges, Life Tap, Fortified. You don't need to actually check it because it's on the ascendancies. Your totems hit recently, you've been hit and taunted an enemy recently. Arcanist brand skills are targeting the branded enemy. Actually doesn't really change anything in Path of Building. Make sure you have Guardian Pinnacle bosses. If you want to just check, regular mapping, you're doing a crap ton more damage, but I always leave it on this. I'm not farming Ubers, so. You have taunted an enemy, so this makes a significant difference. Obviously your hit chance goes down to 60%, but you're always taunting every time you hit something, and taunted enemies can evade attacks, so make sure you check that, or else your damage in Path of Building is not going to be correct. They are burning. You don't really need to check that one because Ignited takes into account that they're burning, and they're covered in ash because of Infernal Cry, and they were hit by lightning damage, which will proc Elemental Equilibrium. You can see here it goes from 8 million damage to 6 million. So if you don't have any flat elemental damage, any flat cold, any flat lightning, you can't proc Elemental Equilibrium, and you will lose a significant amount of damage, like 1.8 million DPS. On this build, obviously. It's a percentage thing. Alright, well that's it. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm really loving this build. I am going to put out a updated version of my Cast on Crit Forbidden Right build that I love so much. I really tried to build it in League. I just, you know, life and work, I just haven't had the time, enough time to play to, you know, get a multi-mirror tier build going. But I will redo my standard character just to show how well it still works, because, you know, nothing really changes as far as how a build works in League versus standard. It just costs way more in standard. Alright, well thanks for watching. If you did enjoy the video, please give it a like, and if you do enjoy the content, please consider subscribing and hit that notification bell to get notified when I post my next video.
Do this just yet.